Hello everyone and welcome back inside the UCCU ballpark for our second matchup of the day in our game between the Pleasant Grove Vikings and the Bingham Miners. I'm JT Wistersill, excited to be joined by my brother Jack Wistersill for this call. Jack, what are you looking forward to seeing out of these two teams and what for one of them will be their final game of the season?
No, I'm really excited because in elimination games, you always see the best out of the two teams. So I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think it's really just going to come down to the pitchers today, You probably pitched your best guy yesterday, so you're up to your second best pitcher, so it's going to be a good battle between the pitchers dueling today, I believe.
Pleasant Grove fell in 8 innings to Skyridge. They only allowed the top seed in our tournament to score 1 run. As for Bingham, they knocked off Mountain Ridge 10-3. We'll give you the lineups quickly. First, for Pleasant Grove, who's in the field, Brad Farr is in at the catcher spot, Tyler Gardner at first, Baxter at second, RJ Wilson at third, Shao at short, Tanner Christensen in left field, Gabe McCoy in center field, and then Shao in right field. And as for the bats of the Miners, it'll be Dylan Frank, Jake Whalen, Maddox Peck will bat third, Cam Beck batting fourth, Abraham Atacio batting in the fifth spot, Talon Van Sickle will bat sixth, Bridger Slade, the designated hitter, will bat 7th, followed by Blake Schaefer 8th, and 15th, and batting in the 9th spot will be number 15, Boston Snyder. So we're just about set to get action underway. The winner of this one will advance to take on the loser of our game this afternoon against Skyridge and Mountain Ridge. That one's slated for 7 o'clock, and the loser, their season is over as we're just about set to get action underway here. As we said, it'll be Frank leading off. Frank led off in yesterday's action as well, playing left field in that one. Struck out in his two first plate appearances, then had a walk, then reached base on a strongly hit ball into right field.
Nothing like getting your leadoff batter on base. See, that would really help out Bingham start the game.
Tua Wolfgram gets the start on the mound. And Wolfgram starts it off with a strike. Wolfgram trying to bring the heat early. Delivers the first ball that time. This is our second game of the day. In our first one, we saw Riverton defeat Westlake. This ball popped up into foul territory. Unplayable.
Seen 3 fast balls to start off here. Be interesting to see if he goes to anything else. Just give the hitter a different read.
Bingham on the season at perfect 14-14. As Frank smashes another high in the air in foul territory. It's playable, and making the grab over on first base is Tyler Gardner, who comes way off first base, but able to get the first out of the inning.
He was a little bit behind those balls to start off. The fastball really working well so far to start us off.
Now bring up Jake Wallen. Wallen in yesterday's action, a strikeout, then reached first on a pop-out that was misplayed by the defense of the Sentinels. Flew out to center field, then was retired on a chopper. He hit to short. Wallen rocks one high into center field, giving chase, and making the grab is the center fielder, Gabe McCoy.
Wallen stepped up swinging right there. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he was ready to go. You like to see that out of your number 2 batter. You hope to see the same thing out of all your batters today. Really aggressive approaches at the plate.
Just like that, 2 outs now in the top of the first, and Maddox Peck now due up. Peck, the center fielder, struck out in his first plate appearance, then flew out into right field, and 2 walks in his last 2 at-bats in last night's action. As I mentioned, when this Bingham team, 14-14 on the season. They were 6-9 in region play. 1-0 the count. Kind of leaving at 1-1 after the swing and a miss there.
Switching up the heater with a little changeup or breaking ball there. Made the hitter stumble a little bit right there. That was a great pitch.
For Pleasant Grove, they were 15-12 on the season, 9-6 in Region 4 play. Another high-flying ball. Giving chase, calling, and then just eventually collected by the third baseman, R.J. Wilson, who comes off. So 3 up, 3 down just as quickly, Jack.
That's just a great performance right there out in the field. That's how you like to start off a game right there. Not many pitches for your pitcher, too, getting out there quick. Let's see if Bingham can respond.
Miners in the field, Vikings up to bat. First, the Miners defense goes as follows. Boston Snyder at the catcher spot, Cam Beck at first, Van Sickle at second, Atasio at short, Jake Wallen at third, Cooper Shute in left field, Dylan Frank in center field with Blake Schaefer in right field. The batting order for the Vikings, R.J. Wilson, the leadoff hitter, making his way up now. Tua Wolfgram on deck, Riker Schau batting third, Tanner Christensen batting cleanup, Hayden Zamboni batting in the fifth spot, Slater Schau batting sixth, Brad Farr batting seventh, Jacob Baxter batting in the eighth spot, and Gabe McCoy batting in the ninth. Jack, this is a battle between these two Region 3 and Region 4 foes, and they both come battle-tested because they play in those impressive regions.
I mean, we have 7 out of 8 teams in the final 8 quarterfinals from those two regions. I mean, these regions are used to being here. They're used to playing top teams. I mean, Bingham comes in with a 6-9 region record, but that region record can be quite deceiving, as we can see.
Wilson allows the first ball to pass. Wilson struck out in his first plate appearance in the previous game, then reached base safely in his second at-bat on a ground ball that broke just past second base. Was hit by a pitch in his third plate appearance, and then crushed one in shallow right field in his second. Maddox Peck manning the mound for the Miners. Delivers his first strike of the day. This is a Bingham team that beat Farmington in 2 straight games, and then they upset the 4th-seeded Copper Hills Grizzlies in back-to-back 5-3 games to place themselves in this position in bracket play. But their season now on the line against the Sentinels. 3-1 the count.
I mean, Bingham's road to get here was obviously not easy. Beating Copper Hills, who's a region foe, they already had played twice during the season, played them twice again, so they are battle-tested.
And those 4-seeded Grizzlies, too, like to your point, Jack, just a really potent opponent. Full count here. Wilson looking to reach base. Peck searching for his first strikeout of the day. And instead, it'll be his first walk he surrendered today as Wilson's on base at first.
It's big getting your leadoff hitter on first. 1 steal away from getting him in scoring position. I think the catcher's got to be ready because, I think he'll be looking to steal.
To Wolfgram, the pitcher, now due up following Wilson. Wolfgram in yesterday's action struck out in his first 2 at-bats, then popped out to first, and then reached base safely on a fielder's choice. On a well-hit ball, he drilled to second. Wolfgram off to a strong start on the mound, looking to turn it over here and have the same success defensively. It's a Pleasant Grove team that really struggled offensively yesterday. They didn't score a run in the game, but they were facing the top-seeded Skyridge Falcons, and especially defensively, they were really strong yesterday, Jack.
Like you said, that game went 1-0. That just shows a testament to Pleasant Grove's defense. So can Bingham match that defense we're going to see today?
Wolfgram has to duck to avoid that one. Yesterday for Pleasant Grove, we saw just a sensational pitching performance by Braden Marks. And in that one, it was only matched too by Tyler Ball. The two combined for over 20 strikeouts yesterday, Jack. That one must have skimmed Wolfgram. Hard to tell from my vantage point, Jack, but it must have barely clipped him across the chest, I guess.
I'm guessing it clipped the left elbow area maybe, but very lightly. I hope it doesn't affect him too much as the pitcher. But like you said, they'll bring on a pinch runner immediately for him. So nothing to worry about there.
In fact, they will. And that pinch runner is going to be Brock Robinson. So Robinson now on first. Wilson to second. And Riker Schau due up. Scow shows bunt but pulls back. The pickoff attempt unsuccessful as the shortstop and second baseman collide. What do you think Peck is thinking right now, Jack, with 2 runners on base and no outs in the inning in the bottom of the first?
Calm, stay calm and collected, and you will be okay. You can get out of this very easy. You can turn a double play very fast. Just got to get grounders.
Scow shows bunt, but directs it into foul territory. He's trying to place it down the first base line. We'll see if he's able to do it. Currently 1-1 in the count. Scow in yesterday's action against the Falcons reached base in his first plate appearance off a grounder, then struck out in his second, chopped out to first, and then grounded out to short. Scow's bunt is collected. Opportunity for a double play, and they're able to make it. As that one backfires from what the Vikings intended to do with it, Jack.
That is, you do want to keep your bunt on the ground, but that is really going to be the runner on first. As a pinch runner, you bring him in, that is his fault. You can't, as soon as you see it go up in the air, you have to immediately sprint back to the base. And you can't even advance because there's a runner on second, so you need to be reading that runner as well. That is not what they wanted to see right there.
So the bunt attempt from
how Peck wanted to see how he could get out the inning. That's what he wanted to see right there. Not much better than that.
Yeah, double play off the bunt. An unfortunate turn of events there for the Vikings. Positive one for the Miners. This ball's launched into left field. Back on it. And making the grab before he can hit the wall is Cooper Shute. So that will do it for the first. We head into the second on KSL Sports Rewind. Top of the second, set to get underway at UCCU Ballpark. Jack, one thing I'm curious about, seeing as you just recently played high school, I know you played basketball in the state, but you've played on these bigger stages before. What do you think is going through the athletes' heads out here?
They're all competitors for sure. It's only when you get this far. Great teams get this far as well. But I think the biggest thing you have to remember is stay in the moment, have fun. You start to think ahead about the next game. Especially for a team that like a Pleasant Grove, you just lost a close one to Skyridge. You're thinking, how can we get back and play them again? But you got to focus on the game at hand. It's nice teams that end up thinking a little too far ahead and end up losing a close one, but I feel like we're going to see a great game today, so I don't think we'll be too worried about that.
Be interesting to see if that earlier sequence we just saw comes back to bite the Vikings later in the game, where they had 2 runners on base and then that double play on the bunt. Just a crazy situation how it played out for them. Cam Beck due up, face off against Tool Wolfgram. It'll be Beck, Abraham Atencio, and Talon Van Sickle. Beck in yesterday's action flew out in the center field in his first plate appearance. He launches this one deep into left field, giving chase, and it's going to be gone. Wow, Beck blasts a home run. It's his second of the tournament after he boomed one in his second at-bat yesterday. He drove in 2 runs yesterday and drives in the first run of this game with a huge shot in the center left field.
There's nothing else you want from your 4-hitter. Your cleanup hitter is the reason they call him that right there. Too bad there's nothing to clean up off the bases there, but that's how you start out the game right there, 1-0.
Beck
he does the nonchalant walk into the dugout.
Yeah, tossed the helmet over there too. But wow, it's just amazing how a game can turn like that too. It sounded great coming off the bat, but we've seen so many of those that just end up falling short. And boom, a huge play made right there by Beck on the powerful home run. Bring up Abraham Atencio. See how Wolfgram responds now. What do you think he's thinking about?
He's probably thinking that he's got to come back from this right now. You can't let that one affect your game. It's only second inning, 1 run. You're going to score a run. You have to trust in your bats.
Atencio was retired in his first 2 plate appearances. Grounded out and chopping out to third. Then was hit by a pitch. And was able to make it safely in his 4th plate appearance.
I really felt like Peck got under that one. I wasn't sure it was going to carry out, but that was just an unbelievable shot by him.
2-0 the count. Low delivery, the 3rd straight ball delivered by Wolfgram. Trying to find the zone once again. The last time he found it ended up being a home run. So trying to figure out the right speed and location on this delivery. It'll be 4 straight balls by Wolfgram.
A close one there, but sometimes it's just hard to get that start that you need. And I'm looking out at the left bullpen for Pleasant Grove, and I'm seeing some 2 pitchers go out and warm up, so they may be thinking a really early change here too. But hopefully Wolf Graham can just fight back right here and get back in this inning.
It's 3 up, 3 down in the first, and then Beck just not even 3 pitches into the second inning blasted that shot. Still no outs in the inning. Talon Van Sickle now due up, who shows bunt. Van Sickle in yesterday's action reached base in his first 2 plate appearances. On 2 well-hit grounders and a line drive, he launched into left field. Also struck out and was retired as he grounded into second.
You know, just need to turn a double play just like Bingham did, really, and all of a sudden you're right back in business.
One-0 the count. Van Sickle. So we once again see the pickoff attempt. One-0 the count. Then look back over to first. Once again, an unsuccessful pickoff.
Wolf Graham really just needs to see one go in the zone right now. You know, that would really help off with the start.
That delivery squeezed out of the glove, afar for a moment. Yeah, we haven't seen a strike delivery from a while, to your point, Jack.
Well, I know back in the day, if you see the guy show bunt early, sometimes you throw it a little inside, just make him think twice about it. So it could have been Wolf Graham was doing there.
Looking for the strike delivery against Van Sickle. Pulled back on another bunt for ball 3. Pleasant Grove, led by head coach Darren Henry, 13 years, 226 wins with the Vikings, 120 career losses. And, of course, Bingham, led by legendary high school coach Joey Sato, 31 years, 430 wins, and just 195 losses. It's incredible. 31 years, Jack, and hasn't lost 200 games. That is really
that
impressive.
Is an unbelievable stat right there. It shows he's been here before.
Yes, he has been here before. That was the first strike delivery as Wolf Graham finally gets back inside the zone. 3-1 the count.
After 7 straight balls, you know, it really helped to see that right there. That's gonna help out a lot for this next pitch and this whole next batters that he's gonna see.
Wolf Graham trying to bring it to full, but really focused on first. What do you think kind of the balance is, Jack, of trying to keep the base runner honest on first while also not losing focus on the task at hand at home plate?
It's nice that lets him clear his mind, think about this next pitch, keep throwing it over to first.
Van Sickle showed bunt, but pulled back, and he's walking over to first.
And I think we're going to be seeing a mound visit come out right about now.
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to see a change, at least at the moment, but the Vikings going to talk things over. I know you've been involved in these kind of discussions before, Jack, back when you used to be a pitcher. What do you think's kind of being discussed?
You're going to try to calm down your guy, tell him it's okay, you know, you've been here before. You know, guy on first and second, there's a very good chance for a double play here still in play, so he's going to let him keep going, you think, but you got to know in the back of your head the other pitcher, it does affect you a little bit, knowing that if you only mess up a couple more times or 1 or 2, then you could be getting subbed out. You know, so I hope that he really locks in here and just has a good performance these next couple of batters.
Pleasant Grove in the first game of regionals defeated Clearfield 10-3 and 4-3 to advance. Or excuse me, they defeated Pleasant Grove had the bye. That's where I was a little turned around for a moment. So Pleasant Grove had the bye, and then because they were the 8th seed, then they took on Taylorsville and they defeated Taylorsville the first game 15-0 in a powerful offensive display, and then won the second narrowly 3-2. Isn't it crazy how you can have 2 games like that against the same opponents?
Tells me though that Pleasant Grove obviously has that unbelievable ace pitcher that you saw yesterday. So maybe there is a little bit of a drop off.
Yeah, we'll see how they respond today. Marks now due up. And Marks has been so strong for so long. We did see the Vikings defense round into form yesterday, as we said, that phenomenal performance against Skyridge. Giving up a home run to Bingham now. 2 runners on base, no outs. And the outside delivery there.
You know what it looks like to me right now is, that's what I'm saying, is when these Bingham batters are showing bunt, he's really struggling to keep it in the zone with the bunt show right now. That's why every single batter that comes up keeps showing it.
Bridger Slade due up. 2 walks in his first 2 plate appearances yesterday, and then a ground ball that broke right off the mound and up the middle. This bunt attempt ends up in foul territory, so we'll do it again. Atencio at second, Van Sickle over on first, and Cam Beck now sitting in the dugout after his monstrous home run. Infield beginning to creep in on the potential bunt. It's pulled back on the slightly high delivery. Looked like a little too far off base that time was Van Sickle. They might have had an opportunity to get him over there, but also because of the defensive shifts, he's able to leak off so far, Jack.
Very, very true. I mean, you can see how high the first baseman is right now. I mean, I don't think he's too worried about getting picked off.
Count will go to, I thought, 2-2, but apparently it must have hit.
Catcher's interference is going to be the call there, with the catcher sticking out his hand. Now, the coach for Pleasant Grove is for sure going to appeal this.
Wow, so catcher's interference, the call. Do you agree with the call, Jack?
Hard to tell from this angle, but I mean, he for sure did hit the catcher's mitt, but I mean, they're going to have to talk with the umpires here to see.
So at the moment, Slade, the DH, was afforded the opportunity to head over to first.
It looks like the Pleasant Grove catcher is saying he hit it on his backswing when he put his bat back. Van Sickle also just tried to take third with his guy on third. Would have been an interesting move there. But that is not going to help out Wolfgram, who's struggling right there.
Yeah, Wolfgram in danger of surrendering some more runs. So bases loaded, still no outs in the inning. Going to bring up Blake Schaefer. Schaefer in yesterday's action, a walk, a strikeout, and then flew out into right field.
You know, Wolfgram just looks better when the guy's not showing bunt as well. I mean, that pitch looked great right there. Down the pipe, heat coming down, and I mean, it's hard to hit that ball.
Slow rolling ground ball could be an opportunity for a double play. Instead, they'll take the force out first at home as they're able to retire and prevent Atencio from making it home.
Saw all the infielders creep in there. Had a feeling they were all going home. You know, I mean, that's just a great play by the second baseman there. Saved the run. One out now. You got to do is turn two, get a little double play, and you're out the inning.
So the score remains at 1-0. That was the first out and a much needed out at home. I'll bring up Boston Snyder, the last batter in the order for the Miners, and then it'll be Dylan Frank due up again, the leadoff hitter. Still 3 base runners on, just 1 out. Snyder in yesterday's action, as we have some thunder creeping in. We do have a massive storm cloud right over us, so
hopefully that stays away.
I'm hoping there's no lightning or anything appears. So I'll call the late time in that scenario. If we were to have a lightning delay, it would be 30 minutes between strikes, basically how the ruling on that would work out. But like we said, hopefully we'll be able to continue to play today, but could see some rain coming in. They were pretty great conditions for our first game today. So this one's fouled off. Weather didn't our worst conditions by far were our matchup yesterday between Syracuse and Riverton last night. That one had rain really heavily coming down. It'll be interesting to see if the players have to battle the elements on top of each other. 0-1 the count. Wolfgram delivers the low ball. So Schaefer safe at first. Slade at second and Van Sickle at third. And another outside delivery, 2-1 the count. Wolfgram trying to get his team
Snyder
out
here. You're just thinking, I just got to get this over the infield, score a run. You know, every run's going to help.
2-1 the count. Snyder allows another low ball to pass. Interesting to see for Wolfgram if he does walk in a run. That could end his short day on the mound.
Switches to the windup here.
3-1 the count. Wolfgram delivers a low ball. And the second run of the day comes in courtesy of the walk. Bingham leads it 2-0. Doesn't look like the Vikings are going to make a change quite yet. And it'll bring Dylan Frank back up. Last time we saw Frank, he fouled out into right field.
Looks like we have first and third looking to go home if they get grounded, but second and short are playing deeper so they can turn that double play to get out of this inning.
Frank fouls another off to go to 0-1 in the count.
Fourth or third hit, Frank is hit over to the right side and fouls. He's having trouble timing up this pitch right now, but I mean he's close to being on top of it.
Frank on the season, 7 runs brought in, 7 doubles, and a triple. A great opportunity to add a couple of runs in here if he can launch this one into the outfield as he takes ball 1 to the inside. One and one the count. Frank crushes one into left field. It's high. We have our first grand slam of bracket play here at UCCU Ballpark. What a monstrous hit by Dylan Frank.
Well, you foul a couple off, then you get one on top, and you just pull it straight down the line. Oh, not just over the fence. Over the fence, behind the fence.
Yeah.
Maybe in the pond back behind UCCU Ballpark. That is a great shot by Frank right there.
That was Frank's first home run of the season and couldn't come at a better time there as it is now a 6-0 advantage. And looks like this could potentially be it for Wolfgram as we haven't seen the players come out to greet him, so they may just decide to talk things over on the ground. But man, what a mega shot. It sounded great, and you could see pretty quickly that Christensen out in left field gave up on it. And man, Dylan Frank with a furious hit. That's going to end it for Wolfgram, so we'll tell you about the new pitcher taking the mound for the Vikings when we return on KSL Sports Rewind. It's a 6-0 Miners advantage with just 1 out in the bottom. We're still on the top of the second, and Pleasant Grove has decided to turn to Hudson Banks, the 2024 pitcher, 6'5", 220. He's got the size, Jack. We'll see if he can get it done on the mound for his team. Banks did come in and pitch a little bit yesterday. Did a good job trying to close that one out. Only gave up the 1 run late, but outside of that was really sharp. So
the lefty's going to give him a different look for sure. You went from a right-handed pitcher to a left-handed pitcher. It's hard to hit left-handed pitchers. Different angle coming in at your body. And this weather has stayed away so far, so let's just keep it over there.
That'll be the goal. Jake Wallen, Maddox Peck, and Cam Beck all due up. Now we had 2 home runs given up by Wolfgram. It's how all 6 runs have been scored.
To first base.
So Wolfgram now on first. The low delivery for ball 1. Bases cleared after the grand slam. So the strong pitching we saw yesterday from Marks, a far cry what we're seeing so far today, as they only allowed 1 run in yesterday's action, and that was not even in regulation, and they've already given up 6 here early in the top of the second. Just not the start that the Vikings were hoping for. 2-0 the count. Wallen flew out to center the last time we saw him. Wallen crushes one into foul territory. Wallen, 13 runs brought in, 6 doubles, and a triple on the season.
Crowd is starting to migrate to the covered sections.
Yep, rain beginning to come down. That means winds also picking up a little bit. 2-2 the count. Actually, now full count off that ball delivery. Banks looking for his first K of the day. This one's launched into center field. Sails high and actually collected by the right fielder in Chow, who comes over to make the grab.
Well, that's your job as a pitcher right there. You know, you might not always get strikeouts, but your job is to keep the ball up in the air, keep it on the ground, do those type of things. Make your fielders make plays.
So second out of the inning. Maddox, Peck now due up. Last time we saw Peck fouled out. Low delivery for ball one. Vikings just 1 out away from getting back on the offensive. What they will need to do, they currently trail by 6. Peck, 23 runs brought in on the season, 6 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 home runs. I've already seen 2 home runs blasted here today by Beck, and then the big-time grand slam by Dylan Frank. Since fouled off at his own foot, so 2-1, the count will shift.
Looks like Banks isn't throwing as hard as Wolfram, but he's putting a lot in the zone right now. So these Bingham hitters are looking really eager to hit this ball.
Banks actually ended up slipping off the mound a little. Jack, do you think it was more so just him out of control, or is that a product of some of the weather we're seeing?
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the weather right there on the turf. Maybe a little slip right there, but also maybe him trying to force a pitch. You never really know.
Peck, 3-1 the count. And Peck had already started to walk over. He thought that was ball 4, but instead...
I'll tell you right now, umpires do not like to see that when the guy may try to show them up, essentially not saying that he was doing that, but it doesn't look great on the umpire's side. So if I was Peck here, I'd be swinging at it if it's anywhere near.
Peck does exactly that, pops it up into right field, called for. And making the grab is Shao. But 6 runs now, Jack. The score for Bingham, 6-0. What do you think the Vikings are going to be talking about here?
You just got to do one inning at a time and just put some runs on the board here with the bats. Get hot.
We'll step away when we return the bottom of the second on deck at UCCU Park. Welcome back into UCCU Ballpark, a now sunny venue here as we're set to resume action. The Bingham Miners lead it 6-0. We were scoreless in the first inning, but then, man, did the bats get hot for the Miners. It was a home run by Cam Beck, the leadoff hitter, to begin the second, that blasted one into left field. Then saw a few runners get on base, and then a massive grand slam completely changed the complexion of this game as it was launched into left field by Dylan Frank. And Frank has really turned this game completely around as it's now 6-0 advantage Bingham Miners. Pleasant Grove has had a lot of time to have to sit on that. Jack and JT Wistersill and Jack Wistersill with you here post-rain delay. What do you think kind of the message was for Pleasant Grove, and how do you think they plan on trying to trim into this 6-0 deficit?
I think the message is that it's a new day. Even though technically it's not, with that rain delay, it's a new day for this Pleasant Grove team.
That's true.
We've technically restarted. And yes, they are down 6 to start, but this could be their inning to go on a 6-0 run, just like it still is the same inning, so just the bottom. So, I mean, I think it really is just a new time for them, and they're just thinking, erase that from your memory, guys. Let's just restart right now.
For Pleasant Grove, it'll be Hayden Zamboni Slater Shao and Brad Farr all due up. And it really is interesting, Jack. You just mentioned like the new day and new kind of game mindset thing. I mean, this game after the first, it was 0-0. We hadn't seen a lot of hits. And in general, there's only 2 hits that Bingham has had. A lot of the issues Pleasant Grove had were self-inflicted and pitching errors to allow runners on base. And that's what allowed, it just happens those 2 hits were home runs. So we'll see how their defense can round into form. But it'll start for them at the bats with Hayden Zamboni up for the first time today. Zamboni has to dodge the inside pitch from Peck. Zamboni takes the first strike. Do you feel like Zamboni feels pressure to make a play here, or is he just trying to reach base right now, Jack? As he fouls it off?
For sure feels a little bit of pressure trying to help his team get back into it, but he also knows that all he has to do is get on base, and you start feeling momentum on your side. You just need a little momentum. It can turn into a lot.
Zamboni in yesterday's action, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and then a booming double he launched in the left field. The count now at 2-2. Maddox Peck has been sharp for the Miners here early. Nearly had his first strikeout, but slightly high on the delivery, so the full count pitch on deck. This line drive launched into center field, and it'll be a base hit for Hayden Zamboni, the first base hit of the day for the Vikings.
It's a great hit right there for Zamboni. Right up the middle, made the pitcher jump a little bit, but just send it right back at him. Great base hit to get on base, give your team that little momentum you needed.
Slater Scow now due up. His first plate appearance yesterday was retired on a line drive to second. Then launched one in the left field, and then at a right drive, drive into right field. He crushed and then struck out in his final plate appearance. Farrer on deck. Jacob Baxter in the hole. It was a Pleasant Grove team, 15-12 on the season overall. By comparison, Bingham, 14-14. So 2 very similar teams. But you mentioned earlier, Jack, just how loaded these regions are. It's why you see a team like Westlake who can go 1-15 in region play, and then they knock off the 2 seed and were able to make it to bracket play. They were eliminated in our previous game by Riverton, but it does speak to how much talent there is in this state.
Just shows you how, dominant those regions are. Region 4 is dominant in a lot of sports, but, that is amazing. You can go 1-15 in region play and then flip your season around by making it in to a quarterfinals in the 6A, the top level of high school baseball in Utah.
Two and 1 the count. The swing and the miss will bring it to 2-2.
You look like you tried to send that one over the fence right there.
He wouldn't be the first to do so if he could. That's exactly where we saw that Frank was able to drill his. Ground ball, a slow roller, fielded cleanly, and they'll make the force out at second. Was his foot on the bag? It was. Can hear a couple of the Vikings faithful trying to protest. They weren't sure, but I believe the second base umpire, Jack, had a great angle on it.
Yep, it was a close one, but I do think that he was out indeed.
I saw they called him out, but he's kind of tried to stay there. Eventually, they're going to make him get off. He definitely signaled out, but, maybe tried to wait a little longer to try to trick him into it. But either way, out number 1. So really nothing unchanged outside of the 1 out now in the inning, as Shao was able to make it over safely to first. On the fielder's choice to second. Do you think that was the right decision there to go to second with the ground ball?
I do. If you can get second guy, it's better than the first guy. It takes that guy out of scoring position.
Brad Farrer now due up. Farrer batting for the first time in our tournament. Didn't see action in yesterday's game. Trying to provide a little bit of a spark in the Vikings batting order, as this one's crushed into foul territory. Oh, 2 the count. 1 out. Farrer awaiting the delivery from Peck. He fouls it off right back into himself to stay alive.
outside of the zone, try to see if you can get him to chase one.
The 0-2 count remains. Miners looking to maintain a 6-0 lead. High delivery for ball one by Peck.
Right now, Peck just can't quite get that breaking ball to come down as much as he wants, but if it can hang up there in the right time and come down, it can equal a beautiful pitch.
Turned into a beautiful day at the ballpark now after we had all that rain coming down. The water's quickly been able to evaporate. Sunshine here early as that one's fouled back into the hand of Farr that time. He's doing a good job protecting home plate right now.
He's a catcher. He'll be all right. He takes a lot of balls.
1-2 the count. Farr fouls another one off her. This one actually will land in fair play, but it's just the easy out at first. Has just happened the bag that time is Cam Beck.
It's interesting. If Cam Beck would have just gone a little bit more forward and caught that ball, he could have just walked back to first for the double play, but he just wanted to make the safe play. Nothing wrong with that. Get out your inning with one more out right here. You're trusting your pitcher.
So far retired. Zamboni now at second. That'll bring up Jacob Baxter. Baxter also didn't bat in yesterday's action. Two outs now in the inning. Falling to 0-2 in the count is Baxter. Peck yet to get a strikeout today, an opportunity for his first, and they get the Miners back on the offensive. Won't come on the high delivery that time.
Just need a base hit here just to get that runner in. One run can go a long way.
Like you said, it doesn't have to be at once. Just slowly but surely chip away at it. Still got 7 innings, unless Bingham was really able to continue their offensive explosion. This one's fouled off.
Baxter's doing a good job staying alive in this.
Baxter up right now. McCoy following him. If they reach the next batter, then we would turn it over to the top of the order. Peck. That one deflected off and having no idea where it's at was Snyder. He was completely turned around as he'd lost it. And in the ensuing chaos, Zamboni able to make it over to third.
Hopefully it shouldn't affect Bingham that much is what they're thinking right now, because all they need is that out at first and they're fine. But if you're Baxter here, all you got to think is I just got to put one in play on the ground, getting my runner to in base for a score. So I can get one run back. 1-6 sounds a lot better than 0-6.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on third. And now full count off another high pitch by Peck. Baxter looking to reach base or bring in a run, but he's got to be careful with 2 outs. The full count delivery. And Peck gets strike 3. And man, did Baxter disagree with that one. He was already a decent chunk of the way down to first, Jack.
He thought that one was a little low right there, but the umpire thought it was good enough.
Just like that, Baxter struck out. Peck's first K of the day gets us to the top of the third. That's up next on KSL Sports Rewind. Hudson Banks still on the mound. He helped close out the previous inning for Pleasant Grove. As we mentioned, it's crazy to think there's just 6 runs off just 2 hits because of the home run. Then the bases getting loaded up due to some walks and other situations being hit by a pitch, things of that nature that led to the bases being loaded for a booming home run. The most recent one by Dylan Frank, but now due up is Cam Beck, who's got to be feeling confident entering the batter's box, Jack.
Yeah, solo home run last time. He's looking for another solo home run.
Back on the season. That was his 4th home run of the year. He's got 5 doubles and has now brought in over 20 runs. One 0 the count. It'll be Beck, followed by Attesino and Van Sickle, all due up this inning. This ball's chopped, fielded cleanly by Banks, who's quick to react to it, and flip it over to first for the easy out.
It's a great play right there by the pitcher, showing his mobility. Getting out there, great little underhand toss, too. It's just a good play out there. You love to see that from your pitcher, too. Gets him moving, gets him active,
Atencio now due up. Last time we saw him, he was able to walk to first. On the season, 19 runs brought in, 4 doubles, and a triple. Banks looking to make this inning a lot shorter than the previous one for the Vikings defense. Low delivery for strike one. Atencio. That's another strike pass.
Banks just doing a good job putting stuff in the zone, which you love to see from your pitcher.
See if he can make it 3 for 3 right here. Shakes off a couple of the signals. Likes that one. Winds, delivers. And forces Atesino to foul it off.
That fastball right there.
0-2 the count still. And another fouled off. We're seeing Atesino now just kind of try to protect home plate, Jack.
He's doing a great job staying alive. That's what you do when you're down 0-2. You just got to stay alive, keep fighting stuff off.
Banks looking for his first strikeout. That one low and in the dirt. 4-1.
Did a good job staying disciplined there, staying away from the breaking ball going down. Banks keeps shaking off a lot of pitches, though. He's looking for his certain pitches that he wants.
Mentioned that we saw Banks yesterday, really late in that game. Pitched 0 in 1 innings. Nearly strike number 3, but instead the count will go to 2-2. But Banks against the Falcons yesterday, 0 in 1 innings pitched. He allowed 2 hits, 1 run. That run was earned. He also had 1 strikeout, but just put her in a really difficult spot. And you can't fault the Vikings defense for holding the top offense in the state to 1 run. And once again, it wasn't even in regulation. It ended in extra time, too. Extra inning, excuse me.
This is why you fight and stay alive. You're Atesino here. You're up to 3-2 now, just at 0-2.
Full count. Banks in the dirt. So really a disappointing stretch as Banks, his first 2 pitches were strikes, dead money. And then, like you mentioned, Jack, just a good job by Abraham Atencio to just wait on it and eventually find himself in the position where now he's on base via the walk.
If you're Banks here, you just got to stay calm. Stay confident in yourself. We'll get 1 batter on. It's all right. You can turn double play guys inning just like that in 1 pitch. So
Van Sickle, 5 runs brought in on the season, 2 doubles. Atencio, his second straight walk. Van Sickle also walked the last time we saw him. While we have an opportunity, we want to look back on yesterday's action between Pleasant Grove and Skyridge. As I said, scoreless through 7 innings. It took extras, and in the bottom of the 8th, when we saw Skyridge score the walk-off run. 5 hits for the Falcons, just 8 for Pleasant Grove. 1-1 the count now.
Big pitch here to get ahead of the count for Banks.
Banks primed for the delivery. And it's low and in the dirt once again. Jack, you've alluded to a little bit, but just the performance we saw from Marks yesterday. 6 and 2 innings pitched, only allowed 3 hits, no runs, had 4 walks to 13 strikeouts.
That is just an unbelievable performance. The Hawaii baseball signee. That's just a performance that you like to see from your ace. That's why it's really hard when you don't get that win.
And unfortunately, they burned him for more than likely the week, too, barring an incredible run. And they were, what's Jack? Would you say if they made it to the championship game, maybe he could come back? But
I believe he could come back Friday. I believe it's a 4-day, 3-day rest, so it'd be Friday. So Friday, if they get the state championship game, he could pitch the first game and then they can get ahead 1-0. But, you're only a couple games away from that. You just got to keep fighting.
Trying to steal second and doing so successfully, but it was off the walk anyway, so don't really know why they rushed the rock, but that one. But either way, Van Sickle, Atesino, they have combined to bat 4 times, all 4 of those walks, Jack.
This is a very familiar setting for Bingham, saying that Atesino and Van Sickle were, last time the guys were on base, and our guy Bridger Slade was up, and then he got on base, catcher's interference, and then we had bases loaded. And just like last time, Pleasant Grove sends a guy to go out there and warm up.
Certainly some bodies occupying the bullpen now. We'll see if there is going to be a change shortly.
Looks like we have Mason Henry out there warming up.
Marks overall threw 111 pitches yesterday in total. Faced 26 batters. Low delivery for ball one. 2 runners on. Just the lone out in the inning. Bridger Slade, the designated hitter, due up. Slade was gotten to first on that catcher interference we saw in the last go-around, Jack. And a low delivery that totally has escaped, and they're going to send him home.
And he's going to get – that is some speed from Matosino right there.
Indeed it is. The wheels of Atacino make this a 7-0 advantage for the Miners. Disaster strikes. Bingham scores as chaos continuing for the Vikings.
Just an unbelievable read from Matosino right there. To get moving so fast off second base and score off a pass ball is unbelievable. And a great read by Van Sinkle to follow his guy right behind him. I'll get all the way to third, get him in easy scoring position. A pop fly now gets you another run.
Slade, 2-0 the count. Nearly has that one take his head off. It's squeezed again. We're going to have another runner. Van Sickle slides safely across home. It is an 8-0 advantage. Miners over the Vikings.
Here comes another mound visit for the Pleasant Grove coaches.
And you can see just struggling right now was, Hudson Banks, as we mentioned, for a while looked to be in control, and that's going to be it for Banks. So they're going to make a swap, and we'll step away for a moment. When we come back, Slade is still up to bat. 3-0 the count. 8-0 the current advantage for the Miners against the Vikings. Still just 1 out in the inning, and they decided to make a pitching change as well as Mason Hawk Henry, the freshman, 6'7", 210. My gosh, what a frame, Jack, now on the mound. But what's going on with the Miners here, and why are they been able to have so much success against the struggling pitchers of Pleasant Grove?
It's funny you say that. I don't think it's as much the Miners as it is the Vikings. The Vikings are just really beating themselves. I mean, like we said, the Miners have 2 hits. Pleasant Grove only has 1 error, so the pitchers just got to find the zone right now. Pitchers have been struggling to find the zone. Get in the zone a little bit, and you can be okay. Just put that ball in play. Make Bingham's hitters beat you.
First delivery is a strike, but he's got a long way to go to get back in the count. 3-1 currently, as it's still Slade who's up. Slade, 18 runs brought in on the season. Also has 5 doubles, but he doesn't need to use any of those. Or actually, that was a strike. He tossed his bat far, Jack, there. We're now at full count.
You just don't love to see that. If you're the Bingham coaches, you don't like when your player does that. Just sit in the zone, wait till the umpire makes his call.
Slade goes down swinging. He's ahead in the count 3-0. What a decision to slide in Mason Hawks in that situation. I mean, that is about as tough a spot as you could step into with that, with no runners on the base, and he's able to get the second out.
With his height at 6'7", his delivery point is coming from very high up. It's going to be hard to time up that hit. And, like you said, he might look like a freshman and be a freshman, but he's not playing like one so far.
Blake Schaefer now due up. Schaefer, last time we saw him, he had a grounder he drilled to second. He was safe on first, but on the fielder's choice, his teammate was retired at home. 1-0 the count, 2 outs now. A swing and a miss.
Just love to see Henry just keep putting balls in the zone. He's doing a great job of that so far. Make these Bingham guys beat you. Like we said, and we bring it up again. Only 2 hits for Bingham Spark, 2 home runs.
Mason Hawks, Henry, 1-1 in the count. That one slightly high. Schaefer on the season, 5 runs brought in and 1 double. 2-1 the count. And a low delivery for ball 3. Although he's obviously very comfortable when he hits 3 balls in the count after what we just witnessed. And And he will find the strike zone again. Full count. What do you think he's going to bring here, Jack?
I'm thinking you're just going with your fastball. You just got to get right down. You just want to I put it right down the middle right now. I just need something in the zone.
Hawks Henry looking to bring the heat on the delivery. This one's ripped into foul territory. Going to be unplayable. They did go with the heat, though, it looks like, Jack.
It's a good job staying alive right there. Schaefer. That's all you can ask from your hitter. I mean, keep making Henry throw strikes. Pleasant Grove has struggled with throwing strikes this game so far. Just keep making him keep doing that.
Full count delivery, 2 outs. This one smashed into center field, but directly to the center fielder, Gabe McCoy. The advantage, 8-0. Vikings got to get some offense going. Bottom of the third, set to get underway. It's an 8-0 advantage for the Miners here currently. And Jack, the crazy thing, still just 2 hits for Bingham.
You know what I mean? They really have just beat themselves so far pitching. But, that is a positive for them. Even though it may not seem like it. Knowing that you beat yourself, you can easily get yourself back in this game.
Gabe McCoy in yesterday's matchup against the Sentinels. 2 strikeouts, then flew out to center field, leave few runners on base. In the previous inning, Bingham did leave, for the Vikings, did leave a runner in scoring position over on third. 0-1 the count currently. Maddox Peck still on the mound. A big swing and a miss. 0-2 the count now.
When you're 9 holes up to bat, if you can just get on base, get the top of the lineup up, it can really help a lot.
McCoy. That pitch off target from Peck. Maddox Peck, also a star receiver for this Miners team last season. Looking to keep their season alive. The winner goes on to play the loser of the Sky Ridge Mountain Ridge game. But the loser of this contest between the Vikings and Miners, their season is over.
Pitch was a little high right there. You couldn't quite get enough break on the breaking ball there.
2-2 the count. Peck. Did he go? They'll check down and say he did. Looks like he was extended just a little too far. So back-to-back strikeouts for Peck to close out the batting order as we're back to the top of the order. What have you seen from Peck so far, Jack?
He's just doing a really good job putting balls in the zone. I mean, he's painting the corners well. He's making it just really hard to hit him so far. I mean, they only have 1 hit, so he's obviously doing a great job of that. But I just like his change-up, off-speed, fastballs, all of the above. It's working.
R.J. Wilson now due up. 14 runs brought in for him on the season. Also has 2 doubles and 3 triples. Wilson rips one into right foul territory. That's 2 strikes already.
After being really late on the fastball, he switched up to the change-up, slower speed pitch. He gets on top of it.
To the count, Wilson. Wisely lets the outside ball pass.
Peck is doing a really good job getting ahead of these counts. You don't see many 3-0, 2-0s for him. You see a lot of 0-2, 1-2.
Peck looking for his 3rd consecutive strikeout. Instead, it's a slow-rolling grounder fielded cleanly by Van Sickle, who gets it over to first for out number 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. To a Wolfgram, now due up. The first baseman now, after getting the start on the circle earlier. He was hit by a pitch the last time we saw him. What do you think he's thinking about right now, Wolfgram, with 2 outs in the inning, Jack?
He's thinking, I just got to get on base. He'd also be thinking, I'm trying to hit a home run right now.
Hits a hard hit grounder. That's a long throw all the way from short. Does it get there in time? It did not. Whoa, that was very close. I thought from my vantage point the throw might have been there, but either way, Venevitaia goes to the runner, so credit the speed of Wolfgram.
That's an unbelievable play by shortstop Adesino, though.
The speed of Wolfgram able to beat the incredible throw of Adesino. Riker Scow now due up again. He bunted into a double play the last time we saw him. I think they're talking about it right now. You see Coach Soto stepping out. 31 years he's been at the helm for the Miners. 430 wins and just 195 career losses. Truly incredible stuff. By comparison, Darren Henry, 13 years, 226 wins, 120 losses.
Wolfgram did a good job of getting on base there. You know, I mean, anything can happen now.
Last time we saw Scow, as I mentioned, he bunted into that double play unintentionally. Different mindset, though, this time around. He'll be swinging for the fences. The strike delivery, but the ball slipped away from Snyder.
It's only kind of crowding that plate so much going inside the batter box. I mean, sometimes those inside pitches that can be inside the zone can feel really inside to you.
One and one the count. Scow looking to keep the inning alive and bring up Tanner Christensen. Pleasant Grove with 2 hits so far today after that one from Wolfgram. Another hard hit grounder. This one bobbled for a moment by Adesino. And it'll lead to 2 runners on base now for the Vikings.
Sometimes that's just how sports works. You make an unbelievable play on the last one, and then sometimes the easier one doesn't go your way, but you just have to bounce back, be ready for the next play. Just a great job again by Wilson, just keeping it alive. Keeping it alive. You know, give Christensen a chance. You're a 4-hole hitter. Give him a chance to make something happen.
Flew out to left field the last time we saw him. Going to bring a big hit this time around. Christensen on the season, 16 runs brought in and 4 doubles in 27 games in total. Outside delivery by Peck started the inning with a strikeout. And we had Wilson grounding out to second. Wolfgram able to reach first on the hard hit grounder. And we see that previous play charges an error against Adesino. 2-0 the count. Peck so close to getting his team out of the inning, now in danger of loading the bases. This ball ripped into right field, sails high in the air. Schaefer makes the grab.
Peck does a great job getting out the inning right there.
Miners returning to the offensive, leading by 8, where we return on KSL Sports Rewind. Top of the 4th, set to get underway in a second from UCCU Ballpark.
We'll see if the freshman can just carry on his great time when he came back in. He had a great start to the inning. I mean, so now he's just got to carry back on against starting off against the 9th batter, Boston Snyder, the catcher.
Mason Hawks Henry now due up. Still on the mound, due up to face Boston Snyder, the catcher. Snyder brought a run in via a walk last time in the previous inning.
He's doing a great job, just like Peck, just keeping balls in the zone.
7 runs brought in, 1 double for Snyder. Thought about swinging on the delivery that time, but instead it'll be a 1-1 count. Snyder cracks one into foul territory. Here's a scenario to keep an eye on. It's an 8-0 advantage for the Bingham Miners. If they were able to score 2 more runs and hold Pleasant Grove scoreless, the bottom of the 4th and 5th, that would be the end of this game. Hawks Henry high on the second delivery, so count to 2-2 after the foul off. Snyder launches one into left field, and it's collected. Ready for it was Tanner Christensen.
And like you say again, I mean, that's a good contact by Boston Snyder, but props to Henry again for just keeping the ball in play, making the Bingham batters beat you. If you're Pleasant Grove, you look at the scoreboard, you're thinking, we have beat ourselves. Just got to make these Bingham. If I'm Pleasant Grove, I'm not fully confident in these. I don't know if I have the same respect for Bingham as a couple of those size of guys that have hit the home runs. I want to see those other guys really beat me.
You don't fear them. I understand what you're saying. Franks.
Now, Franks, you may fear a little bit.
Or Dylan Frank with the home. The grand slam the last time we were up. Just a booming shot. The farthest I've hit a ball seen here in the 6 games we've called in the last 2 days so far. Our first game of the winner's bracket scheduled to get underway between the 7th-seeded American Fork Cavemen and Syracuse Titans, the 14th seed. That one's scheduled for 4:30. It's going to be played 30 minutes after the conclusion of this contest. 1-1 the count as Frank launches another one. High, and the center fielder calls for it and makes the grab as McCoy gets under it.
Swing was a lot similar to his one that went out the park. I think he's going for the same thing right there. Nothing wrong with that. That's just a good job by Henry again, just making these guys hit the ball and letting your fielders make plays.
So 2 outs now in the inning. With Jake Wallen now due up. Wallen retired in each of his 2 previous plate appearances, flew out to center field and then right field. One 0 the count.
Shortstop has to give his sunglasses out to his left fielders. The left fielder struggled to see the last ball, but the center fielder came over and made a great play.
Scow being a good teammate for Christensen out in left field. Swing and a miss from Wallen. Evens the count at 1-1. Mason Hawks Henry, mentioned Jack, the stature, not that of a freshman, and he's also not pitching like one.
How many times do you guys step up in the state playoffs like this at such a young age and come out and perform so well so far?
2-1 the count. Hawks Henry looks to even it up with this delivery. It's cracked into foul territory, going to be unplayable. Although good effort we saw by Wolfgram, as it will even the count at 2 apiece. Mason Hawks Henry yet to get a strikeout. Looking to do so with this upcoming delivery. Ground ball, fielded cleanly by Wilson. Long throw over to first, makes it to the outstretched Wolfgram.
Henry again doing a great job, just keeping the ball in play, making his guys make plays, and they're doing a great job.
Bottom of the 4th, up next from UCCU Ballpark. We'll see if the Vikings can get back into it, battling it out with the Miners. Bottom of the 4th, due up any second. The Miners' defenses look sharp through 3 innings. They'll look to continue it through the bottom of the 4th. Hayden Zamboni, Slater Scow, and Brad Farr all due up here. Jack, you're someone who's won a state championship at the high school level before, but one thing I'm curious about is this is a battle between the 8-seeded Pleasant Grove Vikings and the Bingham Miners. You just wrapped up your first year with the NAU Lumberjacks. As this ground ball is fielded cleanly over on first by Wallen, and he gets it over to make the very first play on the very first pitch as they retire Zamboni, who did reach first after launching one into center field the last time we saw him. But the point I was going to make, Jack, before I was interrupted by that hit, was that well, like what you did with NAU basketball, you guys were a seed. You guys were the 9th-seeded team, correct?
Yep.
So you were farther back in the conference, finished 9th of 10 teams overall. But you guys were able to rally together and make a postseason run in your single elimination conference basketball tournament. What was the mindset for you guys going in, and why were you able to knock off some of those top seeds in that tournament, including the number 1 seed, Eastern Washington?
Thinking the same as a lot of lower seeds. You think you're a lot better than your seed is, for sure. I'm sure both these teams would fully agree with that. I mean, they don't believe they're 13 or 8 seeds. They're thinking they're 1 or 2 seeds. Just a couple pitches going the wrong way, a couple balls bounced the wrong way, and that's the reason you're there. So both these teams are very confident coming in.
0-2 the count. Make it 1-2 now. I mean, to your point, Jack, this is a Pleasant Grove team that just went toe-to-toe and didn't allow a run against the top seed. So you got to imagine they feel that way. But it's just crazy how the game can change on a day-to-day basis because they now trail the 13 seed.
I mean, they went from great pitch by Peck right there, strikeout. But they went from a 1-0 game, loss 0-0 almost the whole game, to a 6-0 game in the second, and then stretched to an 8-0 game in the third. So this might be unfamiliar territory for them a little bit, but like you said, this is the type of games you're going to see in state tournaments. Very different games all around, very different players, pitchers, all coming in.
Chow strikes out. In his previous plate appearance, he was retired. That one took an awkward bounce as it was misfielded by Wallen, and it'll be a base hit.
That's why they call it the hot corner right there. Coming in very hot right there. It's a hard field and play, but I mean, it shouldn't affect them too much when they got on first, but also sometimes that's all you need if you're Pleasant Grove.
It's the interesting one. The last time we saw Brad Farr, he had that interesting, like, kind of low-hanging fly ball as We have someone down at the moment. Gabe McCoy is taking a knee, being tended to by the training staff. He's being looked at for a moment. In fact, while they tend to him, we'll step away and be back in a moment. Baxter up to bat now.
What seemed to happen on the last one is that the batter, after he got the single on the fielder's air,
Far.
he threw the bat back, and it happened to hit McCoy somewhere, we're going to guess, towards the head, because he ended up seeing attended to the trainer, and now it looks like McCoy is not going to be batting next because he is not on deck.
So 2 outs, 1-1 the count. Runner on first. Baxter struck out the last time we saw him. This one rocketed into foul territory. Peck, 1 delivery away from closing out the 4th and getting us into the 5th. The pinch hitter on deck is Van Haney. Ground ball. Fielded off a bounce for a moment and then flipped up. Good job using the bare hand that time from Adesino to retire Farrer at second.
It's a good play by Van Sinkle as well, catching that ball.
He makes the play on the fielder's choice to second. That'll end the 4th. The 5th up next. 8-0. The advantage for Bingham over Pleasant Grove on KSL Sports Rewind. Maddox Peck has been outstanding on the mound for the Miners. He's now up to bat. He'll be followed by Cam Beck and Abraham Adesino, all due up in the top of the 5th. If the Bingham Miners are able to score 2 runs here and hold Pleasant Grove scoreless, then we would have our 10-run mercy rule. So something to keep an eye on here as the Vikings looking to not just extend their this game, but their season.
Well, the way Henry's been pitching so far, it seems like it's going to be very hard for Bingham to get some guys on base or score.
Hawks Henry yet to get a strikeout, but just doing a great job keeping runners off the base pads by forcing them to put balls in play. 1-0 the count. What do you think is going through Henry's head right now, Jack, as a freshman to be able to step up on this big of a stage?
He's thinking, I just got to keep putting balls in zone, doing what I need to do is best for my team to keep them alive. That's what you're thinking about right now. It's all about survival if you're Pleasant Grove.
2-0 the count. Peck, last time we saw him, flew out to right field. Before that, fouled out and takes the first hack and missing on one, so it's a 1-2 count now. Peck powers a line drive that reaches right field.
That's all you want if you're Bingham. Just get your leadoff batter on base. Great job, single hitter. They're going to bring in a pinch runner, I'm guessing, because he is the pitcher today.
So Cam Beck will be due up. I believe that was number 17 for the Miners. So it is going to be, 47, Jared Aurelian. The sophomore due up. Hawks Henry up to pitch.
He's having trouble keeping that fastball down right now. A couple high pitches back to back, but also, he probably remembers watching Beck send one out of the park earlier, so.
Hawks Henry. Pick off attempt at first, unsuccessful. Excuse me. Hawks Henry now facing off against Beck. One the count.
On that throw by Farrer to the corner was a great play by Wolfgram to stop that from going into right field. That could have been second and maybe third base for the pinch runner. Saying the right fielder is playing very far towards the center.
2-1 the count. No outs in the inning. Beck was retired to the pitcher the last time we saw him, but before that had that booming shot Into left field. This one a high flyer. Gonna have a chance on it potentially. Giving chase and then colliding with the wall that time out in right field was
Almost
Shao.
just did a little flip over the wall.
Yes, he did.
The wall. Respect the hustle for sure. 2-2 is the count now too, so only one more strike for Henry to get out of this. Perfect scenario is a nice little ground ball in the middle of the field, turn 2.
So the count stays at 2-2. Aurelian still on first. Beck looking to reach base for the second time today, or I guess didn't really reach, just ran over it the first go-around, but looking to settle on base, or potentially a home run to have a chance at closing this one out. Beck booms a grounder, and it breaks through. Squeezes past second and third. So 2 runners on, no outs. Hawks Henry being drilled right now.
You know, if you're Henry, that's what you want to see. Though you do want to see balls on the ground, you know, I mean, a little bit more to the right or left, and that's a double play. That's exactly what you wanted. But Beck also, that's just a great hit. You know, I mean, that's another guy on base, put Adesino up to that, the guy on first and second.
Adesino's 2 walks the last time we saw him. In fact, Van Sickle's on deck. They've combined for 4 walks in this contest. So 2 runners on base, no outs. No one actively warming up at the moment for the Vikings, although we could see some bodies start to head that way. Adesino fouls it off. Aurelian at second. Beck over on first after his second base hit of the day. Adesino allows the high delivery to pass. 1-1 the count. As mentioned, there are bodies actively warming up now for the Vikings. Abraham, Adesino. Beautiful delivery for strike number 2.
The movement on that breaking ball right there was beautiful to watch from our angle behind home plate.
One, 2 the count. Hawks Henry looking for the strikeout. Instead, it'll be a 2-2 count. It's amazing how much the weather's turned. The wind working a little bit, but the rain was coming down just as hard as it could. Just about an hour ago is when we were set to resume play. Now here in the top of the 5th in this 8-0 ball game. Atencio fouls it off to stay alive.
Atencio has done this before. He's been staying alive. Great job today.
Vikings could really use it out here. The 8th seed nearly upset the Sky Ridge Falcons. As mentioned, Mark's such a strong pitcher, by far the best on this team overall. Their defense hasn't been the same without him today. 2-2 the count. Hawks Henry looking for the K. It's a chopper, fielded cleanly on the dive, and they're able to get the tag out, so advance the farthest runner as they're able to retire the pinch runner for Peck in Aurelian. But that puts Beck to second, and Atencio is safe at first.
It's a great play by the third baseman there. Great awareness to tag the guy. Not really much you can do if you're really in there trying to run over. Now you're really looking for this double play. Get out of this inning.
Kellen Van Sickle with 2 walks on the day. He's now due up. Looking to join Adesino as the only minor so far today to reach base in all 3 of their plate appearances. Taking a hack and getting nothing is Van Sickle. Him and Adesino scored those 2 runs we saw in the top of the 3rd off those wild pitches that Brad Farrer could not get on top of. And a swing and a miss again. So the count goes to 0-2.
Right now, Van Sickle's a little behind. You know, see if he can make the adjustment here on this next couple pitches.
Sickle. Slightly high on the delivery that time from Hawks Henry, but it was close.
Try to paint that top right corner.
One, two, the count.
Great job staying alive by Van Sickle again. This Bingham team just really seems to stay alive well in these late counts. Even though this one's only 1-2, they just do a great job.
Hawks Henry resets, checks over to second, now delivers. Low fly ball, going to end up in foul territory. Can anyone get there in time? No, they cannot.
That's just a play if you're Pleasant Grove that you just would love to be made. You know, the way this game's been going, you're looking for a catch a couple breaks.
One, two, the count. Beck on second. Atencio at first. Van Sickle with one out in the inning, 1-2 in the count. Hawks Henry. Wines delivers. This ball's crushed into right field, and it's going to end up over the head of Shao. He was too far forward. It reaches the fence. He's finally got it. They throw it in. They're going to, oh, we got too many minors on second base. Total chaos and confusion, but no one's on second to cover it up. Oh my goodness. Just absolute madness at UCCU Park. But either way, another run is scored for the Bingham Miners. Their advantage now 9-0. And the potential mercy run residing at third.
The Vikings had both shortstop and second base going out for the cutoff. So neither guy was at second to throw him out, but then also just took a step in when he probably first stepped in, thought he was coming in on him, but actually came out. You know, it's just a hard read of the ball there. Pleasant Grove is also all looking to go home here.
This ball's fielded cleanly. Close play at home, and they'll say he got him out. Whoa, that was a close call, Jack.
That was a really close call right there. It looked like his hand had beat the tag, but
I thought the same thing, personally. Just from our vantage point angle, and we got a pretty good shot at home plate, us personally, but look, he's right on top of it. I think he's going to say it grazed. I think he said it might have touched him on the chin, just trying to read the signals being given out, but either way, the call will stand. That was Slade with the quick base hit that time.
Have a little first and third situation here.
A reminder, even if there is another run scored, we will still play the bottom of the fifth. But a potential mercy opportunity if they were to allow no runs to be scored by the Vikings. But 2 outs now. Not a lot has gone the Vikings' way so far, but that play did. It was a nice throw made home by Baxter there to get it to Farrer, who was just able to get the tag out on Atencio in time. Van Sickle at third now. Slade at first, 2 outs. Schaefer due up. Oh, 1 the count on the swing and the miss.
If you're Bingham here, just looking to put a ball in play. If you're Schaefer, just trying to get that last run in, that can help you try to secure the 10-0 lead before going to the bottom fifth. If you're Pleasant Grove, you're just thinking we just need 1 out. Get out here, get to first, get to second, either 2 force outs.
Count goes to 1-1. We are going to see a pitch runner go to first. Jackson Sissom now on base. 1-1 the count. Schaefer, last time we saw him, flew out to center field. Before that, reached base on a fielder's choice. Now, 1-2 the count. Vikings looking to keep their season alive and have a chance to take the field once again in the 6th, no matter the outcome of the bottom of the 5th, if they can get the last out needed here. And instead, end up taking that one off the shoulder. At least I thought he did. Jack, did that one deflect off the bat first?
You know, it looked like it was off the shoulder, but also it could have been batter's interference. It looks like he's crowding that plate so much. It looked like he leaned in front of the pitcher. Could have been called a strike as well.
So I think it might have been, yeah, like I said, it might have been batter's interference. They're just going to play out. I think he definitely took a little bit of that shot off his shoulder. So 1-2 the count. Schaefer resetting. Two the count.
Bingham first base coach is not very happy with the guy at first for not stealing there to get 2 runners in scoring position.
2-2 the count. Mason Hawks Henry, the freshman, to get the Miners out of the inning. He's able to do it. So they're able to hold on. So we will for sure have a top of the 6th, regardless of the outcome. But the Miners still able to score a run in the top of the 5th. We'll see if Pleasant Grove can do the same when we come in for the bottom of the 5th. We are set for bottom of the 5th action here at UCCU Ballpark. 9-0 the advantage, but the huge out at home means we will for sure play a 6th. Had that run going home by Atencio score, Jack, it would have meant that Pleasant Grove would have to score a run here or the game would be over. Instead, they're still going to have an opportunity to take the field once again and extend this one, regardless of if they score runs here or not.
But you're Pleasant Grove, that's all you want is a chance to stay alive. And also the pinch hitter coming in, Van Haney, 2025, pitcher outfield, 6 foot 160, coming in to bat because McCoy due to the injury, and then they're back to the top of their lineup with Wilson.
That's right. It was a long time ago that we saw Haney go out because on the previous play where we had Farrer, who had the base hit, he reached first, he threw his bat back and ended up hitting his teammate. So we hope Gabe McCoy is okay. But 0-2 the count currently right now. Peck continues to be dialed in on the mound. This one's fouled back. Van Haney on the season, 1 run brought in. Looking to reach base here, provide a little bit of a spark. The Vikings offense just with 2 hits here early. Haney grounds one into foul territory.
Doing a good job staying alive right now. Back-to-back foul balls.
Last time we saw McCoy in this position, he struck out. He'll step out and reset. The swing and the miss by Van Haney. So now McCoy and Van Haney in the 9th hole have both been retired via the strikeout. Bring up R.J. Wilson. Last time we saw Wilson, he grounded out to second, and before that, walked to first. Got to give Peck a lot of credit for how he's performed here so far, Jack. That was his 4th strikeout of the game.
He's doing a great job. Just finding the zone, staying in the zone.
Wilson allows the low ball one to pass. And we talked about how Marks did yesterday. Tyler Ball was also exceptional. He had 10 Ks through 4 innings, and he actually ended up with, he had 12 through 5 as well. So Tyler Ball, the Sky Ridge pitcher, really showed out yesterday and made that the top pitching duo we'd seen, that being the 8-inning game between the Vikings and Falcons that only needed 1 run to be scored to be enough for victory. 2-0 the count. This ball's lifted high. Second baseman and Van Sickle calls for it and brings it in.
This game has been a little bit more of a one-sided pitching duel than the Pleasant Grove Sky Ridge game. But you are correct. Peck has been playing unbelievable.
To Wolfgram now due up. Wolfgram let up some of those runs early on. He allowed the 6 to be scored. Looking to make a play now inside the batter's box. Reach base safely after grounding one to short the last time we saw him. Was hit by a pitch in his previous plate appearance. Looking to be the first Viking to reach base in all 3 of his at-bats today. 1-0 the count. And a reminder, as our next game was supposed to be getting underway here, since it is 4:29 at 4:30. That one between American Fork and Syracuse. That one will begin 30 minutes after the conclusion of this contest. 2-0 the count.
Peck had that first breaking ball, the pitch of this at bat that he really thought was a strike. They didn't quite get the call. They struggled to find his own sense. Pleasant Grove, you're just looking for one guy to get on base here. This could be it right here on this pitch.
Chopper made a grab by Atencio over on short, and he makes the play over to first. So 3 up, 3 down. Strong fielding, and the defense of Bingham as strong as their offense. 9-0. We're going into the 6th on KSL Sports Rewind. Boston Snyder, the last batter in the order, due up to begin the top of the 6th. It'll be Snyder, followed by Dylan Frank and Jake Wallen, the 2 leadoff hitters for the Miners. Bingham looking to score their 10th run here. If they're able to score 10 or more runs, then Pleasant Grove would still get an opportunity to bat, being the designated home team, earning the 8th seed versus the 13th seed. But let's say we were to have what's kind of been the case so far, and the Vikings offense continue to struggle, then that would be the conclusion of this contest.
Yeah, if you're Bingham here, you're just thinking, we just got to get 1 run and we win the game. But also you're thinking, if you're Bingham, let's just be smart. Let's just play within ourselves. You don't need to win the game right away. You can win the game in 7. You can win it in 6.
Exactly.
A win's a win. A win means you play tomorrow. A loss means you don't. So that's all they matter about right now.
We had action earlier today, too, with 6-seeded Riverton Silverwolves taking on the 15-seeded Westlake Thunder. That was a good back-and-forth battle in which Riverton was able to claim victory 4-3, as this one ends up in foul territory in the very corner of the bullpen. But as I said, Riverton claimed victory. They advanced and eliminated Westlake, and now Bingham trying to eliminate Pleasant Grove in very strong position to do so. 0-2 the count, currently facing Snyder here. Flew out to left field the last time we saw him. Did a good job protecting home plate. Fouling that one off. Chopper fielded off the dirt. Bobbled for a moment. It's going to be close, and the throw makes it in time. Scow throws it over to first.
Good play by Scow right there, and a great catch by Wolfgram.
Dylan Frank now due up. Frank, the biggest play of the game, a grand slam just a few minutes before our rain delay, too. Last time we saw him, flew out to center field, and before his home run, he fouled out. He chops this one, once again heading over to Scow. Scow on top of it, throws it over to first, and once again on the money.
Scow would make that one a little quicker due to Frank's speed, but still a good play by him as well. And Henry doing a great job.
Yeah, Mason Hawks Henry has really stabilized things. Only gave up the 1 run, nearly gave up a few more, but was able to hold on. We do see multiple other Vikings warming up inside the batter's box, inside the bullpen, but no reason to turn to him right now with how strong Hawks Henry has been. Now just an out away from getting the Vikings back to the offensive. Wallen wallops one into left field, but able to make the grab on it is Tanner Christensen. So just as quickly as we began the top of the 6th, it's over. Bottom of the 6th on deck.
Henry doing a great job keeping the Vikings alive.
Bottom of the 6th set to begin. And what a performance it's been so far for Maddox Peck so far, Jack. What have you seen from him as he's only surrendered 2 hits and no runs?
To be honest, he has just brought massive energy to this team. It is unbelievable the show he has put on so far. And those 2 hits, it's hard to even remember them because of the performance that he's put on, strikeouts, putting the ball in play. Just doing a pitcher what you love to see your pitcher do.
Peck strode strong in center field yesterday and at the bats for his team. And today, he has been locked in on the mound. He is just 6 outs away now from closing this one out and securing the upset victory. Riker Schau up now. Schauer reached first on a grounder. The one error charged against, one of two errors actually charged against the Miners defense. And before that, had the double bunt, or double play off the bunt. One and one the count, or excuse me, 2-1 after the ball delivery that time. What do you think the message is for the Vikings here, Jack? Trailing by 9, and they're down to their last couple opportunities.
It's that
this ball smashed into right field, soaring in the air, waiting on it, takes a bounce, and then bounces over. So it'll be a ground rule double as, man, flying around the base paths was Scow. He was ready. He might have had a chance to turn that into an inside the park home run.
He might have had a chance to turn into a triple or inside the park home run, but he put on the burners there to get around the base. Wow, but you know, that's what you want to see out of your leadoff hitter right there. You know, and if you're Bingham, you're starting to warm up other guys, what I'd guess to see when I look down at the bullpen. It looks like we got two guys warming up. You know, I mean, Peck's done an unbelievable job, but at one point, no one's invincible. Fatigue might set in a little bit. Your arm might get a little weaker, you know, so it is what happens over time, so it is okay.
I think when you're up 9-0 too, Jack, you'd probably rather take him out a little earlier than a little late, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the end, you're thinking that I have enough pitching depth to for sure get me out of this game. I have a 9-run cushion that he's gave me, so I don't think they'll be too hesitant to take him out.
Back with a potent performance. Just gave up the ground rule double there. Is by far the strongest hit we've seen out of the Miners today. This one's fouled off. You could see the Vikings right now, Jack, really swinging for the fences too.
I mean, can't blame them here. You know, you tell your players as a coach you don't want to bring them back in one hit, but as a player you're thinking a home run would bring a lot of energy, and you're not wrong if you're a player at all. So,
and everyone wants to make a play for their team too. To your point, Jack. Christensen chops it, scooping it cleanly off the dirt. Wow, did the throw get there in time? They'll say it did. Opportunity for the double play. I don't believe they made the double, but still, what an impressive play that time from Jake Wallen, Jack, to field that off the dirt.
That was an unbelievable scoop for Jake Wallen right there. It was a great play.
And then makes the throw over to first, and the speedy Christensen nearly got there. And in the ensuing chaos, it allows Scow to head over to third. Now due up is Hayden Zamboni. Zamboni in his first plate appearance rocketed one into center field to reach base, and the last time we saw him, he was retired as he grounded over to third and into a double play. 0-1 the count, 1 out, a runner in scoring position. Zamboni allows strike 2 through. 1-2 the
Looks
count.
like it could have been a little high there, but a good frame by the catcher gives him the call. Zamboni's got to find a way to put his bat on this ball.
Zamboni goes down swinging. They tried for the tag out, but it's going to be unsuccessful over on third. So 2 outs now. Still 1 runner in scoring position.
This isn't the last all-ditch effort for Pleasant Grove, too. They will have one more inning left, but it looks like there may be a pitching change to be made right here. Could have something to do with pitch count here as well.
Yeah, Peck just wrapped up his 5th strikeout, and he will exit the game after. He looks a little bummed out. I think he wanted to try to finish it out. And, you know, he hasn't left the mound yet, Jack, to your point, although we do see a pitcher making his way over. So looks like this is going to be it. Maddox Peck, what a day. 5 strikeouts, only allows 3 hits, but no runs, and has this team with 2 outs now in position to close it out.
4 outs away from getting moving on to the next day. The interesting part will be to see is will Peck go to center field or will he head to the bench? Saying that he played center field all of yesterday, you might want to keep him in hitting as well because he's been hitting the ball well. Not sure what will go on here.
Coach Soto.
Looks like there is some talk going on from the home umpire and Coach Soto.
potential. This is where that pitch count could be going into effect, to your point, Jack.
Could be talking about that, trying to see his availability for the next couple days. But it looks like...
After all that, I think he might be staying on the mound. So Peck staying in the game.
Have to guess what happened there. Soto went to talk to the home run plate umpire. And essentially what probably happened is he's probably over the pitch count for the next couple of days. So my guess is that he might not always also be able to return until Saturday's state championship if they make it that far.
Coach Soto and his team on the cusp of an impressive run, looking to advance and give themselves an opportunity to face off against the loser of our nightcap between Sky Ridge and Mountain Ridge. Oh, 0-1 the count. Slater Scow struck out the last time we saw him. Before that, made it safely to first, but his teammate was retired on the fielder's choice. Two 2-1 the count. This one fouled back into the net. Peck, high on the delivery, brings him to full count. He's looking for his 6th strikeout and his 2nd back-to-back strikeout of the day if he was able to capture one here.
Get out of this inning as well. 1 strike away.
Peck just inside on the delivery. So Scow over to first on the walk. Riker Shao over on third still.
He's just looking for that breaking ball just to break a little bit more to get it down in the zone. It just came a little bit high on these last couple times.
Far due up. Last time we saw him. Made it over to third on one that bounced. It was a hard hit ball, bounced off Wallen. Low delivery there for ball 1 in his previous plate appearance. Before that for Farr. He was retired at first. Peck checks over to first. Delivers strike 1.
Peck is still throwing some heat for it being this late in the game. Comes some hard fastballs.
Yeah, don't have a pitch count on me right now, but you could tell just from the meeting on the mound that took place a little bit ago. You know he's up there. One and one the count. 2-1 after the high delivery. Coach Soto trying to let Peck finish this one out in the bottom of the 6th. They'll need one more strong pitching performance either from him or whoever the Miners decide to call on next to officially clinch the win. This ball launched into left field, high in the air. Shoot, he's got it in left field. So once again, Peck gets it done on the mound, and the Vikings go scoreless. We're moving into the 7th. Last opportunity for both these teams to put some runs on the board on KSL Sports Rewind. Jaron Spencer now residing on the mound for Pleasant Grove. Mason Hawks Henry had a really strong day, though, Jack.
Yes, he did indeed.
Jaron Spencer, the junior, 5'11", 190. It's the 4th pitcher we've seen on the day now for Pleasant Grove. It was Wolfgram early, then Banks, both of them struggling. But Mason Hawks Henry, the freshman, came in to solidify things. The future is bright for this team on the mound, Jack.
Yes, it is. It looks like they're going to have a lot of good pitchers in these up-and-coming years.
Oh, 1 the count. Ground ball from Peck. Squeezes through, and he's on first. As I mentioned, our mercy rule really meaningless now, as either way, Pleasant Grove is going to have an opportunity to bat, again in the bottom of the 7th.
Cam, who pulled a home run earlier today, is looking to hit one more to bring in him and Peck to give them an 11-0 lead.
Got to say, even though it's a 9-0 advantage, really like to see the effort from Scow and Wilson on second and third, on short and third, respectively. They're both making diving efforts for it, selling out, still trying to make those plays for their team.
I mean, when you're only a certain amount of teams left, you're willing to almost do anything to keep your team alive.
Beck reached base on a well-hit grounder in a similar position. We just saw Peck launch one, and as Jack said, the home run, it was the first hit of the day. The first 3 batters, it was 3 up, 3 down really quickly for the Miners, and then Cam Beck with the home run he launched in the left field really changed the outcome of this one. Oh, 1 the count, as looks like Peck. We were waiting for the pinch runner to come on for him, and he does.
The pinch runner is Jared Aurelian, who was pinch running earlier today and got an unfortunate position where he was tagged out at third.
Oh, 1 the count. Spence. Spencer, tries for the pickoff attempt at first, unsuccessfully. Aurelian, the 5'8", 125 junior, sophomore. 1-2 the count. Cam Beck thought about swinging on it. Wisely doesn't, as it evens the count at 2-2. Beck goes down swinging. First time he's been struck out today.
They're doing a great job of just keeping the balls in the zone. I mean, slow pitches that are making them hard to catch up to.
Atencio now due up. Atencio's day so far, 2 walks, and then made safely a first on a grounder, but his teammate was retired on the fielder's choice. Dead center delivery from Jaron Spencer for strike 1. Oh, 1 the count. What's impressed you most about this Miners team so far today, Jack?
The resilience in the field. I mean, made great plays, great base running, honestly, has been the difference in the game. Getting walked and just making plays from there. But, I mean, obviously, number 1 has come in with Peck's pitching today. It's truly been phenomenal, and looks like, as of now, is going to help carry them on to the next day to play.
Would take a historic and incredible effort in the bottom of the 7th to change that, to Jack's point. 2-1 the count. 2-2 now after that one is fouled off. And you mentioned the smart base running. I mean, how big was that sequence where it was Hudson Banks who was sitting on the mound and just lost control of a couple of those pitches. And we saw Atencio, who was on second at the time, make it all the way home, but just because of how badly at the time Farrer had lost it. And then the following one on a high delivery. Then we saw Van Sickle make it home himself. Was punctuated this one to such a high advantage. This ball sails into foul territory in right field. So everyone will head back to their respective base paths. Two-two the count. Spencer looking for the first out of the inning. He'll have to wait again as another is fouled back. Looking for the second out of the inning. Good point, Jack. We just saw Beck be retired via the strikeout. Peck has his pinch runner, Aureliev. On first. This ball slipped into center field, but bobbled for a moment. And then the high grab on second. They're still able to get the force out at second, so it still ends up working.
It ends up working out. That is an unbelievable catch by the second baseman, number 1.
In Baxter. Off excuse me there for a second, but Atencio had the high flying ball into center field. Strike number 1 delivered.
Is it Christensen in center? Out there, I believe, is in center.
No, this is Gabe McCoy. Christensen in left field, actually.
Gabe McCoy got injured, so I'm not sure if he got back out there.
That's a good point. Could be someone else
so it could
out
be
there.
someone else, but whoever the center field was, it's okay if you don't make that play because the guy tagging up at first made for the easy out at second, so no blood loss there.
This ball breaks free into left field as it finds the gap.
As the DH comes up, Bridger Slade.
So Van Sickle with another monster hit. Last time we saw Van Sickle, he drove in a run.
Have had a great day today batting.
They've reached base a combined 8 times between the two of them, by far the most of anyone out there.
Feels like we've seen the scenario a lot with Slade up and a guy on first and second being Atencio and Van Sickle.
2 outs in the inning, and this one is going to land in fair territory, and it's going to bring in some runs. They'll hold up Van Sickle at first, but it's a double for Bridger Slade. So the Vikings now trailing by 10. So bring up Blake Schaefer. That shot we just saw from Slade just in down the right baseline and allows a run to come in. 2 outs in the inning.
Pleasant Grove just looking for 1 out here, guys, on second and third. 2 guys in scoring position, but 1 out away from going into the 7th with still a chance.
2-0 the count here. Spencer trying to avoid loading up the bases. And a reminder, our game between Syracuse and American Fork will be set for 30 minutes after this one. Two on the count. Schaefer sends a slow rolling grounder. It's fielded cleanly. Can they get the throw over in time? They will. Scow makes the play, but 10-0 the differential. The bottom of the 7th up next. It's going to take something miraculous from Pleasant Grove, but stay with us to see if they have it in them on KSL Sports Rewind. Welcome back into UCCU Ballpark, home for the 2023 6A Baseball State Championship Tournament. The Bingham Miners, the 13th seed in our tournament, very close to closing out the Pleasant Grove Vikings. They're just 3 outs away from doing so, and in order to do it, they have decided to turn to a new pitcher, as they've decided to roll with Hayden Visser.
Hayden Visser, the junior right-handed pitcher, will look to close out this game. You're Pleasant Grove, you're just thinking, miracles happen. You never know.
Yep, got to keep that hope and belief alive. Do you think that's what they're telling each other in the dugout right now, Jack?
For sure. You're telling each other, I've seen crazier things happen.
(2-0 the count. 10 runs scored on 8 hits now. And what's crazy, Jack, to look back on is 6 of those runs were scored on just 2 hits, and this being the home runs.
Home runs, and then they started dialing in a couple base hits. It is crazy the difference that the home runs give you a quick 6, and the base hits are only giving you 4. It's amazing. Also, it's good to see Peck out in center field now.
Such a strong performance on the mound. Now looking to watch on as he helps Visser. Out 3-1 the count, though. It'll be Jacob Baxter, Van Haney, and R.J. Wilson, the leadoff hitter, all due up.
A pinch hitter in right now. I believe it is number 4. Crew Fox, the junior.
Facing full count. Fox fires a line drive that just squeezes past Beck. And a base hit for the Vikings as their fans cheer him on.
Crew Fox seems to be a crowd favorite, getting a loud cheer for the hit. They never know, that can spark it right there.
Van Haney due up. Last time we saw Haney, he struck out. High sailing ball. Collected easily by Atencio at short.
Holzengriff, third base coach, doesn't look too happy with that, just due to now that McCown build it all. But you're in a hard position when you're down 10-0. But they're back up to the top of the lineup with R.J. Wilson up to bat, the lefty.
There you go, doing my job for me.
Every once in a while, you got to step in, help out your co-host a little bit.
Wilson's day recap so far: a walk, grounded out to second, and also flew out to second. It's been a frustrating day for the leadoff hitter of the Vikings, as it has been for most of Pleasant Grove's offense. Just 4 hits in total for them, 1 error. They've only given up 2 runs since those early struggles in the second and third innings, in which they gave up 8 runs in that stretch, but just haven't been able to find some offensive momentum themselves. One and one the count. And that one hit Wilson. So the second time today, he's going to be able to reach base. So 2 runners on now, just 1 out. Tua Wolfgram now due up. Wolfgram grounded out to short. His previous plate appearance before that made it safely after hitting a tough grounder to short, and then was hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. Visser looking to get his team out of it. This ball launched into left field and unable to make a diving grab. That's going to bring in some runs for the Vikings, as it's going to be a double. They're going to send him home. It's going to be a close foot race. They didn't get the tag in time. Diving safely home was Wilson. So Van Haney and Wilson.
It is crazy to see, because the third base coach did hold him up, but he didn't read it good enough. He would have went back. He was going to be thrown out at third, so it's a great job by him. Just keep running hard and getting there.
So it's actually Crew Fox, my mistake. So Crew Fox and then R.J. Wilson, the 2 runs to come in now. So it's 2-10. Still just 1 out, though. Like you said, Jack, runs got to start somewhere. So a little bit of momentum gain now. And now you have a runner on second, too, after the big-time double by Tua Wolfgram.
Well, if you're Bingham, you're still confident enough that you have enough cushion for this pitcher to get out of the sitting, but you never know.
As they have sent bodies to start warming up in the bullpen, to your point, just if it's needed, just as a precaution. Scow sends it high into center field. Peck collects it and sends a high delivery in that nearly skates away, and that's just a great job that time by the backup, by the alignment basically of the Vikings. They're able to get in position, Jack.
Yes, that is a good catch by Peck as well, and a good job by the pitcher to back up the throw. And we talked about this, we hit on this a little bit earlier, so we hit on this a little bit more for could be the end of the Pleasant Grove season here. They only do have 6 seniors on this huge roster. It means we could be seeing them back here next year for sure, maybe the next year even after that. They're a very young team, you know, so there's a lot to build off this type of deep run.
One and one the delivery. Tanner Christensen, the last hope for the Viking season. Strike two, and it almost hit the sleeve that time of Christensen. Interesting enough. So 1-1 the count. Or excuse me, 1-2 the count. So I actually believe it's 1-1. Little miscommunication going on between what it actually is and what we have it on their board right now. But I believe I just saw the umpire communicated that it is 1-2. And a swing and the miss. So that is strike two. So now Visser just one pitch away from stealing a great victory.
Bingham has done a great job with their bats just early off. Let's see if they can finish it off right here.
Christensen, it's a slow rolling grounder. Atencio makes the throw. It's off target. That's scoring a run. So now 3-0 the advantage. As Atencio tried to make the quick throw and couldn't get it over to Beck on first.
Yeah, it looked like he was about to hit Christensen right in the face. And then he stuck up his bat and just hit the ball, and you never know what can happen sometimes if you hit the ball.
So Hayden Visser once again going to have to get it done. He was one pitch away via the strikeout, but the hit by Christensen. So 3-10, 7 runs the difference. Turned into a double off the air. Hayden Visser delivers it low to the outside for ball two.
Got to find the zone, but Zamboni, I'm sure, is looking for more than just a walk.
Three straight balls delivered now. Visser been so dialed in earlier, just lost his touch a little bit trying to regain it on the following delivery, or else he'll walk a batter. Instead, it's 4 straight balls, and looks like we could be seeing a pitching change as the Miners go to talk things over
for sure
on the mound.
A mound visit, but we'll be interested to see if it does end up being a full-on change or just a little discussion.
As a reminder, we do have 2 more games left today, as it'll be American Fork taking on Syracuse at 4:30, or excuse me, what was scheduled to be 4:30. It's not going to be 4:30, obviously. It's 5:08 right now, so it'll be 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. We'll get our next game warmed up and ready to be played. We'll keep you updated on the timing of that one. And then our nightcap, Sky Ridge taking on Mountain Ridge. 7 o'clock, the 1 and 5 seeds. And the highest remaining seeds in our tournament. Jack, it's still crazy to look and think of the top 4 seed. Skyridge, the only one that's left after we had Copper Hills eliminated by Bingham, Westlake took out Cypress, and then Fremont and then Syracuse able to take out Fremont.
You know, this does continue to happen a lot when it comes to the RPI rankings. Due to some teams having easier strength of schedule, it can help with their record to be higher, so it can help you get a higher seed when you might not be as strong as a team. So that's why it's nice, though, with more teams making the playoffs with the RPI, though, you do end up, a lot of things end up becoming well what the truthfully they are.
Zamboni due up again. Or excuse me, after Zamboni walked, it's now Scow due up. One 0 the count. The Miners just 1 out away from punching their ticket into the next round.
So you're struggling to find the strike zone a little bit. These past 2 batters.
Visser. Now at 3-0. Got to imagine if he walks the batter here, this could be it for him. Jack, he's just was so close to having that final out as the ball was. Atencio was in a hurry because of how it was a slow roller and couldn't get it over to Beck in time. Visser able to find the zone.
It's not just how baseball works. You just throw your bat up, it hits in, it causes problems in the game, keeps it closer. You never know.
Visser drills it high into center field, and fittingly, Maddox Peck there to make the grab and officially punctuate a magnificent Miners performance. 10-3, they claim the victory and the upset as the 13th seed, defeating the 8th-seeded Pleasant Grove Vikings. Jack, your final thoughts.
Unbelievable performance from Maddox Peck. He has to be the player of the game for me. He just showed up when it mattered most, and most of all, it's just Pleasant Grove struggled with finding the zone early, led to some pass balls, and then we had the big home runs from Bingham's Beck and Dylan Frank, the grand slam that really put a big difference in this game.
You mentioned the performance by Peck. I'll add on Dylan Frank with the grand slam was huge early. Cam Beck with his home run. The base running of Atencio and Van Sickle, who were 4 for 4 in terms of making appearances on the base paths in their 4 at-bats each. So that will do it for the Vikings season. But the Miners, they're moving on. They await the loser of the game between Skyridge and Mountain Ridge at 7 o'clock tonight. But we have more action coming up before then. American Fork and Syracuse. We expect that one to get underway right around 5:45. So stay with us on KSL Sports Rewind. But that will do it for my brother Jack Wistersill, our cameraman Vince Francis, and all the hardworking men and women here at UCCU Ballpark. I'm JT Wistersill. Your final, the Bingham Miners win against Pleasant Grove 10-3.